Okay. Well, this might be some shitty background quality, but that's all I got for now. It is, what, fucking almost midnight. I gotta wake up at 7-ish. So I gotta go to bed soon. Fuck. I've been on this kick lately where, I guess for the last, few months, I've been going to sleep so late, like 2 in the morning. And I think it's because, so I have a 10-month-old daughter. And she requires a lot of attention, obviously. And it's great. I love it. No me time, though. And so I think the only time I see is at night when people are sleeping. The only issue with that is I wake up at 7 in the morning with her if I'm not working. But if I am working, I wake up at, 5 or 6, so either way. I'm only getting 3-4 hours of sleep a night. And you can feel it in the fucking brain, man. I drive truck for my job. And that requires a little bit of attention. Luckily, I drive through Montana, so not much traffic going on there. We got a big old cattle guard on the front of this bitch, so don't even have to worry about watching out for deer. But, I mean, other than that, it's really deteriorating. See that? Really deteriorating my cognitive abilities, my memory. And I know it. And I still fucking night owl that shit. I'm sorry for all the fucking noises in this bitch. Trying to get this fucking sound quality worked out so it can sound a little better. I probably do a little gate on this because fucking condenser mics pick up everything. Luckily I got some dynamic mics coming. My friend Ben and I are doing a little podcast called Shots and Thots. We did a very rough version the other night with my camera and a shotgun mic. I thought it was pretty fucking funny, but that's just me. We're gonna set it up in my garage, my unpowered, unheated garage. So we gotta make a table, and they sell these little, they call them generators. They're basically big old battery packs with 120 volt outlets in it, so you can plug shit into it. Gotta set up an overhead light and running a laptop or two with the microphone interface and all that. It shouldn't be a big issue. I mean, we're not gonna do more than an hour probably. We fucking get too drunk. But yeah, I'm excited about this. I'm excited to talk. I'm not much of a talker, and I hope that this podcast will help me explain myself better. I am notoriously bad at explaining the shit that's in my head. I have these great ideas. I listen to all these podcasts. I have so much knowledge, and I cannot recall shit because I can't translate what's in my mind to the fucking noises coming out of my mouth. And I'm hoping that A, by fucking sleeping more, and B, by doing a podcast more, having to be really on my words, that I can hopefully better explain myself. I'm not a fucking storyteller. Mostly the podcast is me ragging on Ben because he can talk. Yeah, it's some exciting shit. Hopefully my descriptions will get better. And it'll generally make me more interested. It'll generally make me more interested in shit. For, content. You don't want too many silences. When I'm solo, it's tough, but when I'm, riffing with Ben, a little bit easier. Especially when I have a drink or two in me. So, I don't know. I guess I'll introduce myself. I guess I don't fucking know. I drive truck for paycheck. I wouldn't call myself a truck driver because I just believe that personally, I don't want to be what I do for a paycheck. I do enjoy the job. It's very simple, and let me try to explain that. It's a very simple job, but it's still difficult because it's very taxing. It's long hours. I'm driving 11 hours a day, working 14, unloading everything myself, trying to stay safe and keep my eyes on the road. So it's a very simple job. It's, pick up, drive, deliver, but it's difficult on the body, staying seated that long, staying awake, and keeping a general watch out for, fucking black dogs and shit that's not really there. Oh, that was a weird fucking noise. Anyway, I'm from Louisiana. I wouldn't call myself a Louisianan because I've moved all over. I was born in Louisiana, spent some time there. Mom and dad didn't stay together when we were young, so I moved to Florida with the grandma and mom. Mom's originally from Rhode Island, so spent a lot of time in Rhode Island when I was younger. Started working at 14 up there at the Portuguese American Citizens Club in Jamestown. Washing dishes, getting that $20 paycheck, and I was feeling like a baller, son. It's crazy when you're a kid how that little bit of money just goes so far. I mean, you're like, damn, I can buy fucking 10 bags of chips now. And shit was just so simple, and now I'm making a lot more than I was when I was 14, but I'm like, fuck, where's the money at? I can't even buy 2 bags of chips now. And so, I mean, even having a kid, like, she's not that expensive right now. I mean, people have come together, and not that we needed it, but people have come together and provided for her, and I'm trying to do my best to ensure that she has some, a little bit of comfort, a little bit of food here and there, a little bit of warmth. Got a little savings account for her started, so yeah, I mean, I just don't know where the money goes. I guess these fucking, all this recording shit. And rent. Fucking, I live in Spokane, Washington right now, so yeah, I've been all over. Ended up in Spokane somehow, and met the girl of my dreams, and 3 months later we were busting to have a baby, and that wasn't even an accident. Fucking crazy how life works. And before that, I didn't think I was gonna have kids. I was with this one broad for about 4 years. She was a little more senior than I was. I think I met her when I was 23 and she was 36 at the time, so we had a 12-year gap. She was more wanderlust. She'd never been married. She didn't have kids, and she just liked to travel. I was living down in Puerto Rico. I kind of finagled Ben into quitting everything and moving down there with me. I quit. I was working for a large pharmacy company. I won't mention the name, Walgreens, and gave him I was closing the store down one night. I was the fucking bullshit shift leader, the bullshift leader. I did everything right, and left a little note saying that I was done. They got it in the morning. I mailed the keys back via USPS. But that was one of the best decisions I'd ever made. I was working for Walgreens for 4 years, and it was cool because I traveled. I moved around a little bit, and I could always find a job at a Walgreens just transferring. That's how I made a little bit of cash in Helena when I lived there, Montana. That's how I met Ben. He's from Spokane, and he was on a remodeling crew that came to Helena remodel our store. We clicked. Hey, I'm sorry, by the way, about that fucking jet in the background. That's my heater in this fucking rig. Diesel powered. But yeah, anyway. The fuck was I talking about? Oh yeah, Walgreens. So yeah, so I'd worked for him for 4 years, and you know, I was in that position of at the time, before I had any kind of wanderlust or, you know, just fuck it in my soul. I just was, you know, making ends meet, and it wasn't really going anywhere for me. I had too many goals, and, well, I didn't have any fucking goals. What am I talking about? I just had this urge to do something else, I suppose. So I bought I bought Ben and myself a one-way ticket to Puerto Rico. He came down to Ellick, Louisiana, and that's where I was living at the time. He came down there. We had a little good time, saying bye to the people I met down there. We went down to New Orleans for a night, and then the next day we parked my Chevy Silverado in a parking lot somewhere. We Ubered to the airport. We abandoned that bitch. It's kind of sad because that was a nice truck, but at the time I was really into not keeping or not holding on to possessions. I was trying to rid myself of that shit. And got down to Puerto Rico. It was my first time. It's not even out of the fucking country, but it was my first time out of the country. I didn't even have a passport, so luckily we can go to Puerto Rico. And I mean, I fell in love right away. That's a tropical island. It's Hispanic. I love Hispanic culture. I love the I don't mean to generalize here, but I love the fucking attitude. We got down there. We found a hostel. Ben wanted to fucking rent a car, so he rented a car. I was just like, let's try to figure out a way to get there. But he got a car. Our American asses went to McDonald's the first day, and we ended up with so much shit that we didn't even know. They spoke Spanish. I think they spoke English too, but they just didn't want to. Puerto Rico's weird. They've got this kind of Spanish pride about them, and they kind of look down on the American overseers, so to say, and just us being there. There was a few times where I got just an uncomfort, or kind of a bad demeanor from the locals. Just a couple times, not the whole time, because I mean, mostly it was fucking awesome. So we found this hostel over there, downtown San Juan, and I mean, that's where it all started. Realized hostels were the way to fucking stay when you traveled. Met some cool people. We ended up traveling with those people. This hostel in San Juan was a sister hostel to another one in Fajardo, which was on the east side of the island. And over there, it was owned by an American. He bought it as just kind of an investment, and there's some tight ass people running it though. All shout out to Chris and fuck, I don't remember his name. Naisha, she was cool. She's a little bit of a super hardcore feminist, but she was hot. And then there's Chris. He was a Baltimore boy, huge dude. That dude's got a good soul to him. And there was fucking Zach. Zach was one of the funniest fucking people. I swear to God, if I ever run into that dude, we're doing a podcast, and I won't even talk. I swear, he's one of the funniest people I've ever met, just off the cuff. And yeah, we just chilled, and Ben and I worked there. We had our chores, and in exchange for our chores, we got a free bed. We met, people coming through, Jordanians and Europeans and Asians and other Americans. This town, Fajardo, is basically the ferry town to get over to two islands, Vieques and Culebra. And so if you got there at night, or you're kind of hanging out waiting for a ferry, you come to the Moonlight Bay Hostel and fucking trip your ass. You won't even know it. I swear, they just slip people some mushrooms or whatever. I mean, that place was just debauchery, and yeah, I loved every second of it, man. I fell in love with traveling, with that fucking lifestyle when I was there. And that's when I really started to realize that, you don't have to take life that seriously, as Van Wilder would say. But not to quote fucking Van Wilder. Let me get a better position here. But yeah, I mean, after that, I was hooked. I was like, man, I'm just gonna live in the moment. Before this, to preface this whole thing, I had traveled before, just in the States. I went to Montana. I lived in the woods with this fucking handicapped couple. I was basically their slave, over in the mountains of Helena, Montana. So I kind of got a little bit of fuck it there. At the time, I had some into the wild type aspirations. Didn't last too long. I like money. I don't mind society. At the time, I was kind of indignant towards everything. Changed as I've gotten older, for the better, for sure. But I was also very depressed at the time, which is, it's crazy to look at now because I'm the complete opposite of emotional now. But I think just going through that and seeing how crazy the emotional spectrum can be, I was a little bit manic at the time, and depressive, obviously. But going through all that, kind of diving deep into the depression and the mania, helped me balance out a little bit, I think. I mean, I was depressed and I moved to the woods of Montana, fucking Kaczynski style, and it didn't help from not being depressed, but it definitely made me dive a little deep, kind of hit a little bottom, so I knew where the bottom was. And then from there, I mean, ever since, I would say, Puerto Rico, even though I've had little spurts here and there, ever since Puerto Rico, man, I've leveled out so much. I've realized that I've made peace with a lot of things, and I've realized that life isn't that serious. Lately, it's been a little more serious, but not my life. I take my daughter's life very seriously, and my wife. As far as my outlook on life, we're temporary. We are, flesh and bones. And I just think we're here to have a good time and laugh a little bit, make some friends. One thing that helped me see this is traveling more. Get out of America. It is an excellent world out there. No matter how scared you are, I say when you have some kind of reaction to something, let's say traveling gives you fear of the unknown. Well, if something gives you fear, you should do it. See how far that fear goes. If something makes you happy, you should do it and see how happy it actually makes you. Same thing with joy and sadness and, the whole fucking spectrum. Anyway, tangents, back to Puerto Rico. So, first time I did mushrooms was Puerto Rico. Excellent. I could not fucking stop laughing. And I know this is a pretty universal experience, and we got some good shit. We went to this little old lady in the woods. Our friend, our hot ass friend from Chile, I forget her name, but anyway, she knew this old lady in the woods. I don't fucking know how. She got some fresh ass mushrooms. She gave us a whole fucking Walmart bag. Yes, there's Walmart, full of fresh mushrooms. And we got those, tried them out a little bit, laughed my ass off, to the point of embarrassment. I just didn't want anybody to see me. And then after that that laugh attack disappears, you just feel at peace. You feel like you can do anything. I played cornhole like LeBron James after that. I don't watch basketball, but I hear he's good. And then a few days later, we took the ferry over to Vieques, and I think it was 5 of us. It was Ben, James, me, I can't remember his name, and then his girlfriend. Can't remember her name either. We started eating. They had a little peanut butter fucking pussy sandwiches, and I was just straight ass mushroom. I don't even like mushrooms, like on pizza and shit. Fuck that. But I'll take some trippy ones for sure. But I took too much. So the night started out great, and I just went to this other place. I became someone else. I was a captain of a ship, apparently. I remember trying to get people to sweep the deck. The deck was the sand. So my whole joke was it's never going to get fucking clean because it's just, it's sand. And it was weird when you're tripping because you know that there's like a foundation of reality there. But there's this other thing happening just above the surface where you're just kind of creating that reality. And it's totally artificial. You know it's bullshit. But you also still fully believe. I don't know if this is what other people experience, but that night I knew it was bullshit, but I was in character and I could not break it. This was after I met my ex, and there was a certain point where I was like, oh shit, I'm probably not ever gonna see her again because I'm never gonna come out of this fucking trip. I think I took too much. Everybody else was coming down at like 3 in the morning, and I was like, guys, I'm still up there. I don't think I'm coming back. So we all rolled up in our hammocks, and by the morning we were all right. I was so thankful to come out of that trip, because you gotta cherish. I mean, mushrooms are great to help you see things that aren't there, but when you all, come back down, you start to appreciate, the basic reality that's been there and that was there before and will be there after. And even though it's not as magical as mushrooms, it's charming to come back down from mushrooms and just, see life in the world. It's cool. I like that feeling. So yeah, we came back down. We all had a great time. Woke up to the perfect fucking day. We got there at night, so we didn't know, how the beach actually looked although it was a full moon, so it was perfect to do mushrooms. But when we woke up, that crystal blue fucking water, the sun was out, water was perfect temperature, sand was fucking, perfect color. You couldn't see any buildings, you couldn't hear anything. There was no resorts or anything like that. You just felt like you were on a deserted island. And that was one of the best times, one of the best moments in my life where I've woken up, and I just woke up just, no thoughts in my head. It was just, fucking cool. I highly recommend people do mushrooms and go to Puerto Rico in the reverse order. I got some insight. I don't really. I think I need to do more to appreciate the insight that I get, but I understand. I don't want to be psychological here, but I think on a subconscious level, I change every time I do them. I get more appreciative of life and people, and the good things like humor and music is big. When I do mushrooms, I get really into music. I cry. I don't even know I cry, but my face is just wet. And especially jazz. Jazz just like rips my soul apart when I'm on mushrooms, and not. But I don't seek it out when I'm not on mushrooms, which is weird because when I do hear it and I haven't, seeked it out. Like I was watching Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, highly recommend. Most of their whole score is beautiful jazz, and every time I hear it, I'm like, I'm at peace. At peace. And when I'm driving or when I'm, have a feeling to listen to music, I don't think about, maybe I should put some jazz on. I put like fucking Dave East on, or is it fucking Megan Thee Stallion? Big old freak. I got some weird ass musical taste. Same thing with classical. I don't seek it out, but I love to hear it. So Ben and I eventually we kind of had a combined budget. It was fucking like $1,000. We stayed for I think a month and a half or 2 months. We ran out of money. I was at the point where I was like, well, I think I want to just run out and see what happens. And Ben, he was kind of like, I think I want to go back to Spokane. He had a girl back there, understandable. We were together too much, so we got really just sick of each other. And then I went to DC to see that chick I met, and I ended up staying there for 4 fucking years. Crazy. And in that 4 years, I appreciate, she kind of got me out of, she kind of forced me to get my passport. I mean, she didn't force me, I wanted to get it anyway, but she kind of drove that home to get my passport. She's a hardcore traveler. And she taught me a lot of things about traveling that I wouldn't have picked up on my own, for sure. First country I went to, Mexico. Fell in love. Saved up $1,000 as a bike messenger in DC, and I spent a month and a half traveling by bus. Started in Cancun, did Merida, Campeche, Palenque, went down to this little fucking, I thought it was like a cool surfing town, but it ended up being like a refinery town. I got there, I was just like, man, this isn't right. Salina Cruz, that's what it was called. It sounds cool, but it's not. It's just, there's nothing there except people, which is cool. I kind of got sick of people for a while. Then I made my way up the Pacific Coast, where the fucking Canadians go to vacation. It's that town called, it's Puerto Escondido, that's right. And then made my way up to Mexico City eventually, and got a plane home. Excellent experience. And one of the crazy things I realized is when I got on that plane after spending a month and a half in Mexico, and I can get by, ordering food in Spanish, but I can't really understand what people are talking about. But when I got on that plane to come back and I heard English, I noticed right away I was judging people with their conversations, and I was like, I hadn't done that in a month and a half because I couldn't understand anybody. I didn't care what they were saying. As soon as I got on the plane, heard political talk, and I had, my opinions and judging people, I was like, wait, oh fuck. That's something that I realized. That's a lot of mental energy just that you kind of can't control, just judging people all day. So I try to keep that in mind. Probably gonna leave it right there for now, because I gotta get to fucking sleep, and also I got piss. I'll throw this up. Shots and thoughts. We can do solos sometimes. It's mostly gonna be Ben, me. We got the whole setup coming. I think it's gonna be funny. I hope that there's gonna be some interesting conversation. And I hope we can get other people to do it, cause it's just fun to riff, especially when you got a little whiskey in you. Oh yeah, that's what it's all about, man. So y'all have a good new year. From Bose, where the fuck am I? Oh, Belgrade. From Belgrade, Montana. I'm signing out. Y'all have a good new year. I'll probably do something. We'll probably get together first or second week of January and do something. Probably gonna be about an hour long, and we'll just talk shit. Hopefully there's some jokes that come out of it, huh? But alright. Next time I'll try not to have that fucking heater on.